So earlier I talked about that when there's hormone fluctuations in postpartum, and how estrogen plays a really big role in muscle mass. But then in pregnancy, because we have a huge amount of estrogen in the body, and because it can, create some stress and anxiety in the body when we have a huge amount of estrogen, and how that can also have a negative impact on the muscles of the jaw, and again creating even more clenching and tightening of those muscles as well too. And so if that's something that was experienced during pregnancy, then for sure it's going to be present potentially during childbirth, and then definitely during postpartum. So we have all of these issues that can come up during postpartum, but what can we do about it? I would say one of the first things would be to focus the attention away from what we're feeling in the jaw. It's very easy to hyper focus in that area, but also addressing where are the other parts of the body where there's tension, and also having an understanding of the anatomy. So knowing that the neck muscles can be impacted, that the shoulder muscles can be impacted, that even the chest muscles, like I think of like the pectoralis, major and minor, especially from a lot of that rounding and internal rotation that can be present from holding and carrying your baby. Any of the back muscles, anything around the head as well too. So I think of like temporalis, that can also be really helpful because it does have a connection to the jaw muscles as well. So you can focus on taking some of the tension away from the specific area, especially the muscles around the TMJ. You can also then obviously focus directly on the muscles of the TMJ, or the temporomandibular joint. So working on the masseter can be really, really helpful. You can also work on the pterygoid, where you would actually insert your finger inside your mouth to be able to access that. But I think for most folks, they're really aware and can actually feel their masseters, and that might be easier to access and to be able to massage. Sometimes just doing the massage might not be enough, and progressive relaxation can actually be really helpful. It's a terrible thing when people say just relax. Your muscles aren't going to relax. So you can actually do progressive relaxation technique, which is where you're going through every part of your body. So going through your toes, into your feet, into your legs, your knees, your thighs, your butt, your core, your chest, your shoulders, your arms, your fingers, all the way up to your head, and you're squeezing and clenching everything, and you're holding so much tension, and then you can just let that go. And that can be a really great way of also highlighting like where it is that you are holding that tension. And sometimes the tissues or the muscles actually need to be able to feel for that tension and that contraction for it to then actually let go and release. So that can also be super helpful. Having that understanding of, again, the tongue posture and how that's going to have a big impact on what's happening in your jaw. So practicing tongue on the spot, if that's really hard to do that, especially if you're a postpartum mom and, just your mind is everywhere and it's really hard to build that habit and focus on that. There is a really great tool, myofunctional therapy tool called the Spot Pal. And so it's actually a little... it's almost like a retainer device that you can wear. It's custom fit. You can put it in your mouth, and it has a little spot. So it helps to just build proprioception. So, you wear it throughout the day. It's usually about like 2 hours, 2 hours throughout the day, and over the course of the day, and you will just have your tongue resting on that spot. And the more and more that you do that, you build that proprioception, so that way then when you aren't wearing the Spot Pal, that device, then your tongue will naturally eventually go to that spot. Sometimes it can be helpful to combine doing using tools with devices as well. So something to consider. Can also consider wearing a mouth guard. That's something that your orthodontist or your dentist can prescribe for you. I think it is a great tool to have. However, it doesn't really address the root cause of why you are teeth clenching or grinding, but it will help to reduce the amount of wear and tear that can be present on the teeth. And so speaking of that wear and tear, and especially if that's happening while you're sleeping, is also prioritizing sleep. And as a postpartum mom, again, it's very easy to just tell a mother or a parent that they should just sleep when the baby's sleeping, but that's not always possible, especially if they're trying to take care of themselves or just take care of things around the house. So it's really as much as you can to prioritize your sleep. Whenever you can get rest breaks, like that's even, can be just as helpful. So even if it's like taking 15-20 minutes of not having your phone, just being able to be in stillness or quiet and allow your body just to rest, that can also be very, very restorative. Not saying that that is going to be the only thing, because obviously getting good quality sleep is going to be needed, but that's definitely something that you want to try to prioritize, and just looking to see where you can get help, whether a postpartum doula, family member, community, to be able to kind of help to support you, so that way you can get the rest that's needed and take some of that tension and anxiety that might be present in postpartum, so that way it's not showing up in your body. Lastly, it can be really helpful to decrease the amount of caffeine or alcohol that you're consuming. Caffeine is a stimulant. When you have a really high stimulant, that's going to just create a lot more tension in the body. And so there has been some evidence that when you do decrease that caffeine, those stimulants, then that's going to just help to soften, relax your body, as well as those muscles as well. Decreasing the amount of alcohol can be another option as well if you are in that postpartum phase. So even though alcohol is not a stimulant, it's actually more of a depressant, but there can be alcohol-induced fatigue. And that, again, that fatigue, sleep deprivation, tiredness, then that can also still stimulate teeth clenching and grinding as well. So if you enjoyed this episode and just learning a little bit more, understanding why it is that you are experiencing teeth clenching and grinding, especially as you are in this postpartum phase, and also why it might be having an impact on your pelvic floor as well, or worsening some of your symptoms, then I'm hoping that you can consider what are other things that you can do to address in your body to help decrease some of your pelvic floor symptoms, and obviously also decrease some of the jaw pain that you might be experiencing. So feel free to like, share, comment after you've watched this, and subscribe to my channel so you can get more videos to learn more about how everything from your tongue to your tailbone is having an impact on your pelvic floor. Thanks again.